From the newsroom of the Bryant College Station Eagle, this is the Brazos Sports Prepscast. And now, the Eagle High School sports team, Alex Miller and Jake Weiss.
What's going on, everyone? You're listening to the Brazos Sports Prepscast, podcast about high school football here in the Brazos Valley. I'm Alex Miller from the Eagle, joined always by the Eagles high school sports reporter, Jake Weiss. Jake, getting into week 4. What's going on, my man?
Doing good, man. We're getting closer and closer to district. About to get real intense around here.
Indeed it is, but we're wrapping up non-district play here around some parts of town, and later in the show, first time ever, we're going to have a coach in studio, Rudder head coach Eric Ezar, going to join us, talk all things Rangers football.
Excited for that one.
You know, Jake, last week there were some big wins for some local teams and a tough loss for one of them, and we'll start with them. A&M Consolidated, they were up to number 3 in the 5A Division I rankings, had a pretty good Lufkin team coming to town, and the Panthers won 31-14. What'd you really see in that one?
Yeah, I hate to just kind of make parallels to A&M App State. I know that's kind of a sour note for a lot of people around here, but you know, I kind of saw a little bit of similar things in just that. Lufkin really just kind of ran the ball whenever they wanted to. You know, they had big, long runs. They could run, just, you know, pick up kind of – I had a coach a couple weeks ago call it ugly yards. I thought that was kind of funny, you know, those short 2-3 yards pickups. So, yeah, Lufkin, I mean, they just ran the ball whenever they wanted to against Consul. And Coach Fedora even said afterwards, too, hey, that's something we got to work on is, you know, hitting the gap, stopping the run game. So he even acknowledged, too, like, hey, they ran all over us. We got to work on that this week with the bye week. And then on offense, just some mistakes. Threw a pick six, Consolidated, and then had some trouble with offensive line, just kind of pushing the defensive line back. A couple sacks there. I don't exactly have the number with me, but, you know, quarterback Will Hargett, he got sacked a couple times. I want to say at least 3 times. So, yeah, just kind of had some trouble getting some rhythm on offense themselves, and then Lufkin just kind of ran all over the defensive side.
Yeah, you know, this one kind of surprised me. I mean, Lufkin's a team that historically very, very good. They've had a couple of down years lately, which is pretty uncharacteristic of Lufkin. So, you know, not too surprising to see them back maybe on the rise, but you know, Consol, especially with how good that defensive line is and how talented they are up front, you know, pretty impressive on Lufkin's end to be able to run for 263 yards on that defense. I mean, that's not something somebody can do every week against that Consol front 4.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was real impressed with their run game.
Well, you know, moving along, Bryan, they beat Brenham in a just total shootout, 55-42. Hey, how about Tyson Turner? I mean, he had himself a game. 4 catches, 146 yards, 3 touchdowns, 48-yard kickoff return on an onside kick to put the game on ice. You know, Brenham quarterback Rylan Wooten, he was our player of the week, not this week, but the week before, had a big game.
Yeah, he was, yep.
He threw for 350 yards, 5 total touchdowns, rushed for over 100. I mean, if you liked points, this was a good game to be at.
Busy box score, though.
Yeah.
You never had to write up that box score.
Yeah, seriously.
No,
yeah.
And then +2, shout out to Tyson. I think, you know, he had his big game, and then I think the next day he went and took a visit to Texas Tech. And that was the game they beat Houston, I want to say, and rushed the field. Is that right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So, yeah, I was about to say he had a pretty banner weekend. Awesome game on Friday, and then got to go watch an awesome game on Saturday.
For sure.
And then, you know, the last one, Alex, I know you were at this one, a big game. College Station beat Temple 45-31. You know, I think after that first week, you know, against Lovejoy, yeah. You know, people were kind of wondering where College Station was going to go. I think they got right back on track in this one. What did you see from the Cougars in this one?
Yeah, you know, any questions that people or concerns people were really having on offense for the Cougars, they've been answered pretty well the last 2 weeks. You know, putting up 52 against Nolan Catholic, 45 against a really good Temple team. I mean, at quarterback in particular, Arrington Maiden, he's got it going. got it going each week over the last 2 weeks. He takes care of the football. He's not scared to take chances and make bold decisions. And so, that's a good sign for the Cougars. I mean, when you lost a guy like Marquise Collins, there were some question marks, and they've really provided some answers the last 2 weeks. Of course, they have a bye week this week before they start district play next week. AJ Tisdale, though, I mean, he's really become the X factor of this team all the way around. Committed to Wisconsin, know he's a really talented player. He has really seen his role grown a ton this year. I mean, he had a touchdown on offense last week. He had a kickoff return for a touchdown to start the second half. He had an interception. I mean, he is so valuable to their team in general. So, he's a guy that they're going to continue to lean on and need to have big games as they get into the season. The question I have now is, can they keep it rolling and really get into that rhythm and maintain that preseason contender role on a state level that they had coming into the year, even though, at the beginning it was kind of a tough loss? Can they continue to find their way and make it going? And as of now, it kind of looks like they'd probably be able to do it at least pretty well. So, all right. Last game we're going to recap from last week. Allen Academy beat St. Joe's 60-14. This was another surprise for me, not because Allen won, but because they won so big. I mean, they mercy ruled the Eagles with like 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Big night from the Field brothers. Aiden Field, 181 yards, 3 touchdowns. Little brother Brock had 110 yards and a touchdown. What's crazy too is that this game was 22-14 at halftime, I think. I mean, Allen just went to work in the second half and didn't look back. So, that's a big win for Coach Adams and company. That was a game we talked a lot about last week is, hey, this is a rivalry game. Like they've had some good games recently, could be another good one. And Allen just really went out and got a good win. I mean, St. Joe's, they're a good team too. I mean, they're going to be able to bounce back, but Allen, I mean, they're really starting to get it rolling here this season.
Yeah, I mean, St. Joe's has been the district champ 2 years in a row, maybe even longer, but I know at least the last 2 years for sure. So I'm kind of interested to see where both teams, kind of a trajectory for both of them, where they go from here.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this segment of the podcast. Coming up next, we got Rudder coach Eric Ezar in studio talking all things Ranger football. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Brazos Sports Prepscast, everyone. Joining us now, first time ever, we've had a coach in studio. We're joined by Rudder head coach Eric Ezar. Coach, it's great to see you. How are you doing this morning?
I'm honored to be the first coach, on the podcast, so I'm excited about it. The Prepcast, excuse me.
Well, you guys had a big week last week, getting your first win of the season over Elgin. When you've gone back and you looked at it, what'd you like about the win, and how good was it just to get that first victory of the season?
Well, it was really good. I think, last year we kind of got in a long winning streak, and, there was the pressure of the playoffs, trying to make it. Maybe we didn't enjoy it as much as maybe, you got to win the next one, So, we have a lot of young kids this year. We were having we have like a spaghetti dinner on Thursdays, and we call for the sophomores. We got like 12 sophomores, and we got like 3 freshmen on the varsity. So we have a young team. And just, I told them before the game about just go out and have fun. I mean, this football is a great game. Don't put the pressure on yourself. Go out and have fun, and just enjoy it. And we talked about, just having that situation. You never know. It could always be your last. And so, they went out and played well and got a win. And so we very much enjoyed getting that victory under our belt. And a lot of those kids, it was their, first varsity win.
And, Coach, I wanted to ask about, we've talked about him before. You and I have Xavier Ramirez.
Right.
He's one of your few upperclassmen,
right.
Quarterback. He had a pretty solid game Friday, didn't have a single turnover. How have you kind of seen him progress from, where he was at the start to where he is now?
Well, he's making a lot of really good decisions, and, he was very productive as far as, I think he was like 70% passing, made a lot of good decisions, didn't try to go, he took some chances when he had the right coverage. And so that's what I was really proud of him in that situation. They were trying to really double Kevin Holmes, and they were playing a guy on top, a guy underneath. But, in times where if they rotated and go, okay, hey, maybe they won't see it if we could rotate to one-on-one, he was able to find Kevin for some big plays. So that I thought that was really good. It's good to have 6'5" receivers because, you get those safeties kind of playing over the top. And that was kind of their plan, which gave us the run game a little bit and some stuff underneath.
It's no doubt Jaquise Martin. He's a versatile player for you guys, especially on offense. As he's getting a bigger role this season, how are you really seeing him grow his game?
Well, he's grown a whole lot, and he's still not 100%. He's really a tough kid. He's got a little turf toe that he's been fighting for probably the last 2 to 3 weeks. So he's at about 80%. So we're just trying to get that thing well because. I want to see the Lamborghini right now. He's just a GT Mustang. So we're waiting for the Lamborghini to come out. But he's just been real tough and playing with some injuries, and been real proud of him. He's to think he's just a sophomore is pretty special.
I had turf toe once upon a time, and so I feel where Jaquise is at. That is no joke.
It's tough, and it doesn't really get too much better. And so, he knows that. We've been kind of watching him in practice, and he's been communicating with us it's pretty sore, so we back off a little bit. But he can do so many things, and so he's so important to us that we're just trying to be sure that he's going to be okay.
Right.
And I want to talk about the defensive side of the ball a little bit too. I think they allowed less than 250 yards last week. Where have you kind of seen them grow as a unit? What areas have you seen them growing?
Well, Coach George is our coordinator, and he's done a fantastic job. Again, I don't mean to keep harping on we got young guys, but, we thought we were good tacklers until we played Willis, and we didn't tackle anybody. And so Coach George spent a lot of time on just fundamentals of tackling, and you could really see it the last 2 weeks of them getting better tackling. And, if they throw a bubble out in the flat, we're able to go out there and make a good tackle. We're not missing. And, but we did schedule hard those first 2 games. Not that Elgin was a good football team, but, we scheduled some 2 tough teams that kind of got us, here's what the speed's going to look like in the playoffs, and all that kind of stuff. So, it made us kind of find our weaknesses, and having a chance to kind of shore those up have been good.
And then, I got to ask, too, about one more guy on the defense, a little preview for Friday, Jaden Williams. What do you think just how special is he on the defense? What kind of player is he for the unit?
He's just a freak, and I'm hoping all these D1 coaches are going to come in and start maybe offering him. He's got some D2 offers, and he is just he's 6, really everything you want. 6'4", he's got good feet, tough kid, and I love his character. He is just a yes or no sir kid, makes good grades. He's just kind of that mild giant. You see him, outside of the football field, and he's just one of the nicest kids you'd ever want to meet. And so, very, very proud of Jaden. He's been a blessing to have.
So you guys, you're closing non-district play this week at Killeen Chaparral New School, right?
Right. Correct.
Yeah. What are you really hoping to see from your guys in this final non-district game before, the wins and losses? They really start to count when you get into district play.
Well, you just want to go out and tune up. They run that slot T, which is a little bit different. So it's going to be something that we're going to have to be, Coach Allen Hare is the coach over there, and he was actually at Salado and did a tremendous job down there. And so, you got a real good coach there. So it makes you a little nervous playing those guys because they're looking for their first win and something that they can hang their hat on. So you get a little nervous playing guys like that. But, really, we just want to go out there and take care of business, get a win. And, just with our kids, it's just kind of, getting in that winning. I'm kind of superstitious about stuff. Just, this is when we win. This is what we do, and you just keep rolling with it. And, that's just we've got the Elgin win, and so now we want to move on and hopefully beat Killeen and hopefully move that into Lamar and just kind of start that winning streak.
Well, before we let you go, last year, EJ was a guy that we talked a lot about, of course, being y'all senior quarterback. Can we just get a little update on how he's doing?
He's doing good. He's up at Missouri S&T. He did get redshirted.
Okay.
And so he was actually on the sideline last Friday night, kind of helped me out. Hey, you probably need to run this or run that. So it was kind of neat to have him on the sideline. He'll be back in Missouri this week. They got a home game, so he'll get a chance to, I guess they let him suit out, stand on the sideline. So he's a red shirt. But I try to tell my guys all the time, college is a business, and so I think there's 7 quarterbacks or 8 quarterbacks, and he's trying to figure out where he fits in that mix. So a long way from home, so it's just one of those things. Just focus on the academics. That's what's most important, that you get some college paid for. So that's kind of where we are now.
For sure. Hey, always great to hear about where guys that are from here are going and what
Right.
they're doing. So
Well, Marcus Hurd is doing a great job at Davidson. He's getting to actually
Right.
play a little bit, return to kick, I think like 40, 50 yards. So we're real proud of him. And then Lyndon Williams right now is at Navarro. He got redshirted too. So, proud of those guys, getting their college paid for and getting a chance to, get some good things done.
all right. Well, Coach, thanks for taking a few minutes of your day to join us. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, guys. I'm just honored to be the first in studio. So should be sure you mark that down. I need a plaque over there, Coach.
Yeah,
the first
yeah.
one. And
Hey, won't be the last, hopefully, either.
Okay, good deal. I'll come back anytime.
Awesome. All right, we'll be back for our final segment here on the Brazos Sports Prepscast. All right, we're back. It's our final segment. It's 3 games to watch. Jake, let's start local, but they're on the road. Brazos Christian at Central Texas Christian, Friday night. I don't have a time. It's either 7 or 7:30. We'll check the eagle.com for the kickoff time. I forgot to include it on my show notes. But, Jake.
Yeah, Brazos Christian, they smoked the Village last week, 45-0. Really impressive win for them. Now they go on the road. It's going to be a good test against the team, in Central Texas Christian. Central Texas Christian lost to Milano last week, but, they're ranked 1 spot behind the Eagles in the TAPS Division IV rankings. So that'll be kind of interesting to see what both teams look like in this matchup. Someone I want to give a quick little shout out to is Ryan Burton, wide receiver, defensive back. He had a big game for Brazos Christian. He kind of did it all for him. I don't have the stats just off the top of my head because there were so many, but he had, punt return, he ran the ball, caught a couple passes. I think he had maybe caught a couple, and he had a touchdown too, maybe 2 touchdowns. He's been a big playmaker for them. So I'm interested to see what Ryan and Brazos Christian, just the whole team can do this week. It's going to be a good game.
Well, game number 2, bona fide banger alert down in 2A. And who is it? Of course, it's Centerville. They're playing Mart at home Friday night, 7:30 p.m. Big one down in the 2A ranks. Like I said, the Tigers, they're number 9 in 2A Division 1. The Panthers are number 2, 2A Division 2. Centerville, they've had a very challenging non-district slate. That's no question. They went on the road to Crawford a couple weeks ago, lost there by 2 touchdowns, came back last week, though, and beat Teague. This game against Mart, if you know anything about small school football around here in Central Texas, Mart, they are a powerhouse and always a contender down at that 2A level just south of Waco. They've been outscoring their opponents by an average of 54-4. So, points could be at a premium for that Centerville offense. But if we know anything about Centerville, they've got the guys to make it interesting, give Mart a run for their money, give them a good chance to win. This will probably be Centerville's biggest test yet. Maybe. Crawford, that's a really, really good team. I would say it's probably about on par in terms of difficulty now that I'm thinking about it. But needless to say, this is going to be a great game. Centerville probably a little more battle-tested than Mart is this season, given that close loss on the road to Crawford. This is a game the Tigers... They would really like to win and really need to win just to, I think, give them that confidence of, hey, we can compete with a team of this caliber, knowing that, all right, down the road, if we want to make a deep playoff run, we're going to have to go through some pretty good teams in that East Texas Region 3. I mean, Timpson, that's a team that they're definitely going to have to go through probably, and they're number 1 at 2A Division 1 right now. So, big game Friday night over in Leon County for the Tigers. Should be a good one. Well, in the pasture of pain, Jake,
I like that.
you need to learn this one.
I like that.
This
yeah.
one is
Never
at
heard
the
that before.
pasture of pain.
Never heard that before.
Cameron Yo at Belleville, Friday at 7:30. Okay, this is going to be a really good game between. It's a cross division game too. Belleville at Class 4A, Cameron Yo at Class 3A.
Yeah, Cameron Yo. I picked him in my picks column last week. Didn't work out, but it was close. Cameron Yo pushed Waco Connolly to the brink. I think Waco Connolly had to come back at the end. It was 45-40 was the final, so it kind of was a shootout there. Another one where if you like points, you like that game. Now they got Belleville. Also, maybe think I talked about the Belleville and Navasota game in
Right.
the picks column as well. Because, Navasota, we've talked about them a couple weeks here now, kind of a big game for them, another big test for them against Belleville. Belleville came away with a 35-0 win over Navasota. So it'll be interesting to see kind of where both teams are at this week. Cameron, we know they can put points on the board. They throw the ball real well. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do there. Like to see the defense maybe step up. It kind of seems like every game, when you look at the score or we get stats, seems like it's like always a shootout. So I'm interested to see what their defense can do this week against Belleville and where just both teams are this week.
All right. For any Cameron fans out there possibly listening to the podcast or any other high school fans listening to the podcast that are going down to this game, be sure you got to stop at the Belleville Meat Market and get the sweet chipotle sausage. That stuff is incredible. So, shameless plug to the Belleville Meat Market.
Man, I kind of want to go out there now.
We need to this is our mission, get Jake to Belleville by the end of the year.
Yeah, Pasture of Pain, Meat Market, man, I might take a trip out there.
Hey, they got a castle out near Belleville too, so.
Man, I'm kind of want to go out there. Yeah, I might get in my car right now after we finish and go out there.
All right. Well, next week maybe we'll get a review from Jake Weiss on the Belleville Meat Market and the Pasture of Pain. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Brazos Sports Prepscast. Be sure to like and subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or just check theeagle.com for all your coverage of high school football here in the Brazos Valley. For Jake Weiss, I'm Alex Miller. We'll see you next week.